Albert Einstein, the lone wanderer who changed the world and mastered the universe. The whole world recognizes Einstein as one of the greatest physicists of all time. There have been countless works, anecdotes, and writings about him. The more people study him, the more they discover how many contradictions exist in this genius scientist. He once said, "I am truly a lonely traveler. I have never fully belonged to my country, my home, my friends, or even my family." A difficult childhood. Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879, in a small town in Germany. He was the firstborn son of a middle-class Jewish couple, Hermann Einstein and Pauline Einstein, a family that was not very well off and made a living selling bedding. From the moment he was born, young Albert worried his parents due to signs of delayed intellectual development. It wasn't until the age of 3 that he began to speak his first words, and even then his German pronunciation was unclear. Moreover, he preferred to be alone and had no interest in playing with others. Once, he sat quietly in his room for an entire day, staring unblinkingly at a compass. That unusual behavior followed Albert Einstein throughout his high school years. Despite the strict rules of the German education system, he often refused to complete assignments or recite lessons as required by his teachers, choosing instead to hold on to his own views. He frequently asked strange questions that neither his classmates nor his teachers could answer. At times, teachers even ignored him, believing he was a foolish student. As a result, his academic performance was quite disappointing. His homeroom teacher once complained that Einstein was an unusual boy, lonely, awkward, and lacking discipline. He even believed that Einstein would never succeed in any field in the future. In class, Einstein had no friends, and no one wanted to spend time with him. As a result, in early 1895, during his final year of high school, he was forced to leave school and moved with his family to Milan, Italy. He later applied to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich, but failed due to poor grades and the lack of a high school diploma. In 1896, he had no choice but to return to finish high school under extremely difficult circumstances without his family, without friends, and without a nationality. He had given up his German citizenship, but was not yet old enough to obtain Swiss citizenship. At that time, no one paid attention to this thin, strange, and different young man. The ambition to challenge the very laws of God? It wasn't until 1905 that Albert Einstein published a paper in a physics journal. This work would later become the foundation of the theory of special relativity. But at the time, almost no one paid attention to the voice of an unknown man like him. Perhaps the ideas Einstein presented were simply too new, too bold, and far too difficult to grasp. Very few people could even begin to imagine what he was talking about. Until one day, a mathematics teacher in Poland happened to read the paper and was absolutely astonished. He immediately urged renowned physicists at an international conference to take this work seriously and study it carefully. In his view, this idea could rival the scientific revolution of Nicolaus Copernicus. Although it was recognized by a few scientists, such as Max Planck, Einstein's theory was initially dismissed by most of the scientific community as absurd and unacceptable. This reaction was understandable, because at the time, physics still deeply revered the ideas of Isaac Newton, a towering figure in science. According to Newton, space and time were absolute and unchanging, eternal laws of nature, almost seen as the will of God. And yet now, an unknown patent clerk in Switzerland, a man whose daily job was nothing more than paperwork, dared to challenge those seemingly unbreakable laws, even appearing to defy what many believed to be the will of God. According to Einstein, the faster an object moves, the slower time passes. And as it approaches the speed of light, about 300,000 kilometers per second, time itself nearly comes to a halt. This concept of space and time completely transformed humanity's understanding of the universe. Newton believed that even if matter disappeared, space and time would still exist independently. But Einstein proposed something far more radical. If matter vanished, space and time would vanish with it. Even today, there are still people who doubt this idea, let alone back then. The revolutionary concepts within relativity shook the entire scientific world. Many criticized Einstein, claiming his ideas were unscientific, even accusing him of going against the will of God. He faced countless prejudices deeply rooted in the thinking of an entire era, like a lone sailor navigating a small boat through a stormy ocean. Einstein pressed on, enduring doubt, opposition, and criticism, all in pursuit of the truth. As a result, his theory of relativity was met with more rejection than acceptance in the beginning. Although his contributions in many fields were gradually recognized, in 1921, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences awarded him the Nobel Prize in Physics, not for relativity, but for his work on the photoelectric effect. As for relativity, no matter how great it was, it remained too new, too controversial, and, for the time being, unaccepted. Conquering the universe and the pain of the atomic age. Albert Einstein was not only a brilliant scientist, but also a social activist, a tireless advocate for peace. Adolf Hitler once placed a bounty of 20,000 marks on his life, yet Einstein opposed war not out of personal hatred, because he despised authoritarian power and forces that resisted human progress. Ironically, this would lead him to one of the greatest tragedies of his life. In 1939, as World War II erupted, Einstein learned that Hitler was pushing scientists to develop an atomic bomb. Fearing the consequences, he urged U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt to support a nuclear research program. However, Nazi Germany ultimately failed to build the atomic bomb. Meanwhile, the United States successfully tested its first nuclear weapon, bringing the world to the brink of catastrophe, even as fascism was already collapsing. Realizing the danger, Einstein and many other scientists urgently petitioned the U.S. government to stop the use of such a destructive weapon. But President Harry Truman made the fateful decision to drop atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. On August 6 and August 9, 1945, both cities were devastated, and hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives. When Einstein learned what had happened, he was overwhelmed with grief and guilt. He suffered from insomnia, lost his appetite, and repeatedly blamed himself, saying, "People condemn the atomic bomb, but sadly, I am the one who helped set it in motion." From that moment on, the great man slowly sank into a profound loneliness that lasted until the end of his life. In his memoir, he once wrote, "I am truly a solitary traveler, and I have never belonged to my country, my home, my friends, or even my family." Over time, Einstein's theories were confirmed by modern scientific achievements, shining ever more brilliantly. Yet many mysteries remain, continuing to inspire humanity as a tribute to one of the greatest minds in history. With just a simple equation, energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, he opened the door for humanity to understand and explore the deepest secrets of the universe. Saving the Nobel Prize money for divorce? Beyond his brilliant scientific career, the German genius Albert Einstein also had a personal life filled with fascinating and unexpected stories. In 1896, he met Mileva Merrick while they were both studying at the University of Zurich in Switzerland. Over the years, their relationship developed into love. By 1900, after Einstein graduated and began searching for a job, Merrick failed her final exams and was forced to work in a laboratory. Then, an unexpected event occurred. Mileva discovered she was pregnant with Einstein's child. In early 1902, Mileva Merrick gave birth to their first daughter at her parents' home in Serbia. However, the child's identity remains unclear, and most records about her mysteriously disappeared shortly after her birth. In 1903, Einstein and Mileva reunited and officially married in Switzerland. A year after their marriage, they welcomed their first son. Their second son was born in 1910. By 1912, Einstein had become a professor at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. During this time, he began developing a romantic relationship with his cousin Elsa Einstein. In 1914, Einstein moved to Berlin with Merrick and their two children. However, not long after, Mileva took the children back to Switzerland. By 1916, Einstein requested a divorce, which was officially finalized in 1919. As part of the agreement, Merrick would receive the full amount of any future Nobel Prize money that Einstein might win. When he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1921, he honored that promise. This is considered one of the most unusual divorce agreements in history, where Nobel Prize money was used as part of the settlement. Was Einstein's love truly relative? Not long after, Albert Einstein officially divorced Mileva Merrick and married his cousin, Elsa Einstein, his second wife. Elsa was a trusted companion and partner in life. She stood by Einstein during the most brilliant years of his career. She accompanied him on many journeys around the world and cared for him devotedly whenever he fell ill. It must be said that both of Einstein's wives were remarkable women, yet his marriages were far from perfect. Perhaps even love for Einstein was relative. He could never give his whole heart to anyone. There was no such thing as absolute love in his life. Though seen as a romantic, Einstein remained truly faithful to physics. In 1933, Einstein left Germany and settled in the United States. There, he delivered many speeches calling for peace. He lived in the U.S. for more than 22 years. On April 17, 1955, Einstein suffered internal bleeding caused by a ruptured aorta. He refused another operation and said, "I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly." Early the next morning, Einstein passed away at 76. He passed in the hospital, where he had continued working until the very last moments. His ashes were scattered near the Institute. His passing was a tremendous loss. The world lost a brilliant scientist and a great man, yet his legacy lives on. As he once said, "Man can die, but the ideas he leaves behind can last forever." Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and support the channel.